Hey y'all, Coach Rogjett here. I just wanted to just chime in real quick and just share something that's been coming up in my sessions lately. A lot of conversations about boundaries. Now, if you know anything about me, then this is literally my wheelhouse, right? Like I rock hard with the idea, the concept of setting healthy boundaries. A lot of us didn't necessarily have healthy boundaries modeled for us. And so we just maneuver through all these different relationships, just the way that I guess we've been either handled in the past or we're just trying to figure it out. But there are different types of boundaries. So some of us grew up with very rigid boundaries, which are basically very closed off. It's just you want to be isolated. You don't really want to engage with a lot. Everything is just held really close here. And then others grew up with very open or porous or even enmeshed boundaries, right? Which just means like anything goes. Everybody has access to you. A lot of people pleasing is shown in this space, but sometimes being able to carve out your own identity or trying to understand who you are can be really challenging in relationships or even family dynamics that have enmeshed or porous boundaries. Healthy boundaries is a nice balance between the two. But one of the things that I've found is that people don't talk about the consequences of setting boundaries that much. Okay, so it's one thing. I'm a champion of, hey, set that boundary. And I'll have clients who set it and it's hard, but then they're super proud of themselves after they do. But one of the things that I make sure that they're aware of is, hey, there are some consequences. It doesn't necessarily mean that there are negative consequences, right? But sometimes there are for setting these boundaries. Some I just want to talk about. When you set boundaries, you're not wrong. But because people have been comfortable, like just extending or overextending or allowing you to be overextended, I guess is a better way to put it. Maybe you're just very quiet or agreeable for most things. When you set a particular boundary, that can throw some people off. Boundaries are for you. They're not for the other person. And they're there to not just protect your peace. They expose who was only around you because you didn't have any healthy boundaries in place. And so when you finally said no, when you stopped over explaining, when you decided that your energy is no longer up for grabs and you were going to prioritize your energy, sometimes people fall off. They create distance. Some will get attitude and be a little combative with you. Some are going to guilt trip you like you owe them anything, right? And certainly as if you owe them your own exhaustion. And that's wild, okay? But here's what I need you to hear. Their reaction, how they respond to you, is not your responsibility. I know sometimes we think it is, like we want to control how somebody responds to us, but that's not your responsibility. What is your healing, your peace, that's your responsibility. You were not created to be everyone's convenience store, okay? So I'm thinking of 7-Eleven growing up. I don't know if it's still 24 hours. Maybe I know 7-Eleven was going pretty hard in Thailand too, but I think of it as just always available. Right. And so when you think about it metaphorically, right, it's like it's stocked with emotional discounts. And those discounts are in place so that you don't make anybody uncomfortable. But that's not realistic, right? Because what happens is when you do that, when you're trying to people please or when you're trying to make things more comfortable for others, oftentimes it's at your own expense. There's some self-abandonment there. So yeah, setting boundaries has its consequences. But that people-pleasing element, that can cost you everything. And I just want y'all to be mindful of that. You get to decide who you're willing to lose. Like, you got to decide who it's going to be. Are you willing to lose the other person, the relationship, the job, whoever it is, or are you losing yourself in the process? You want to make sure that you're not losing yourself in the process at the expense of someone else's comfort. All right. So that's all. I just wanted to chime in real quick. Just hit y'all with some boundaries talk. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week going into the weekend. Be on the lookout. I have an event coming up next week that I'm going to be a part of. So just stay tuned to the socials and hit me up if what I just shared resonated with you at all. Let me know in the comments. What are some ways that you've been able to set some healthier boundaries in your life? I would love to hear it and chat back with you. Take it easy.